My husband and I just watched your documentary, and it was so compelling. It's so poignant. Tell our viewers what Mack Wrestles is about.
It's just basically just my life story and what happened between me and my junior year and my senior year. And I was wrestling 4 years in high school. And so then there was this dad on Team Texas when I was wrestling. And I was wrestling his daughter, and I was in the same weight class as her, and I don't know what it was about it, but he filed a lawsuit against me because he found out that I was transitioning and I was taking testosterone, and he filed a lawsuit, and then just ever since then it blew up, the case blew up, and I won in court, and after that it was just basically like CBS, like NBC,
you made headlines, not Mexico, just around the country, around the world.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I was just like, whoa, this is like absolutely insane. And this was it turned into a activism fight. Yeah. And for athletes and trans athletes, and yeah. So
Mack is a transgender wrestler. Because of Texas regulations, they say that you have to compete according to the gender on your birth certificate.
Yeah, it's like whatever you were born as, that's where you had to perform in and where you were in athletics. And it's not based on what you identify as. Like, I think there's only nine or maybe 10 states, United States that have that policy in place.
Yeah, so you're able to block out all the noise.
Yeah, I was able to block it out because I was like, this is what I want to do more than anything.
You know, you were very open about your transition on social. Why did you feel why did you want to share that with the world?
I was basically the only person that I knew that came out as trans. And so I really didn't have anybody to turn to, so I turned to social media, and there was a lot of like trans guys, and they were posting like their transition, and I was like, oh, well, maybe to help with my activism, I could help post my transition too.
You know, there are a lot of assholes out there, a lot of trolls, but at the same time, there are some people who come at it from a place of ignorance. So I want to like clear some stuff up. So first of all, you know, being trans is not who you go to bed with; it's who do you go to bed as, right?
Yeah.
So when did you kind of know that you were maybe not in the right body?
Yeah, 7 years old, 7, 8. It first started off as like, oh, hey, I like this girl. And then it turned into more of like the physical, like wanting to be with a girl. And I was just kind of like really confused, but I was like, well, if I'm thinking this, like there must be like something right about it. So I started thinking more about it, and eventually my mom finally mentioned to me that, did I feel different? And I was like, yeah, I really do. And she was like, do you know what it's called? I was like, I had no idea what it was called. Yeah. Because the only thing I labeled myself as bisexual, and I was like, well, that's because I'm different. And so, and then after that, when me and my mom talked about it, I was like, okay, this is actually called being transgender.
A lot of people are saying that you had an unfair advantage because you were taking testosterone, but you and I know that hormone, placement therapy is not the same as performance-enhancing drugs. So can you kind of clear up that misconception?
Yeah, so I actually like watched a documentary over like steroid use versus like my experience and other transgender experiences. So like a steroid user would use like a whole bottle like this big. It's like 2,500 milligrams, and then what my dose is, I'm just going to use my case, is like a 500 milligram bottle, and it lasts me for like a month, 2 months, and it's like this tiny. Yeah. And that's basically it. Yeah. Yeah. That's
so you don't feel like it gave you an unfair advantage at all?
No, I don't.
Yeah. If anything, you had to work twice as hard.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I would come into practice, and cutting weight for wrestling is a big thing. Like if you go lower a weight, you have a better chance of winning. So I would cut 15 to 20 pounds, and then on top of that, I actually have a scar from it. Oh, wow. Is a hormone blocker. So my freshman year and my sophomore year, I was using hormone blocker plus taking steroids. So it was like basically rolling back the estrogen and the testosterone. Yeah. And I was cutting weight. So my freshman and my sophomore year and my junior year, I was like coming to practice like dying. Like I was dead like every practice. I was like, this is too freaking much.
Your dad was saying how they should have mentioned at the graduation that you are a 2-time state champion. And even you feel like there's an asterisk. Why?
Like me, myself, personally, like I would rather wrestle with the guys. I rather would have won something in the guys division than rather winning something in the female division, because that's not who I identify as. But I really had no choice.
So after high school, you actually did get an opportunity to join the state men's team, right? Yeah. What was that like to finally compete?
It was good. I mean, obviously, like during like summers, I wrestle guys all the time. Like there was not like a point where I didn't. And so, like, when it came to competition, I was like, okay, well, now it's competition, so I really got to win. Like, I had something to prove. And so, I mean, I had my losses, but, you know, you're going to have your losses. I mean, I lost against girls before. I have. It's embarrassing, but, like, any loss is embarrassing, but you also, like, win from your losses.
Exactly. But you were actually kicked off of that team, and from what I gather, it's because the work schedule.
Yeah, it was like over a 2-day period. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it would literally happen that fast. So I had to work like the first day.
Yeah.
And I told Coach Ray to send me the times. He didn't send me the times, and so literally we had 3 practices in the same day, and so that's why I missed 4 practices.
So
that's
like 4
added up, because I had to work the same day.
Do you think it went further than that? Like, do you think people were maybe uncomfortable with you being on the team or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, there was a couple of coaches that had a problem with me, and I knew they did. I hear things, like the word follows, and, you know, but, you know, it's okay, because right now I'm able to wrestle in college on the guys team.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks that I had to, you know, miss the national team, but, you know, not everybody has also made the national team.
On Muscle and Fitness, we've covered this world record breaking powerlifter, Mack but he transitioned into Janae Kroc, and she wants to now return to compete, but in the men's division, but not as a man. What are your thoughts?
I mean, if she wants to do that, I mean, go ahead. I mean, what does she gotta lose?
Yeah.
I mean, she's competing against men. If that's what she wants to do, then let her do it.
Let's talk about what has happened since the camera stopped rolling. You enrolled in college.
Yeah.
At Life University in Georgia, right? You were recruited for the men's wrestling team.
Yeah.
And you got your top surgery, and you got your name legally, or your gender legally changed on your birth certificate. So tell me about all these developments that happened since the camera stopped rolling.
Okay, so it took us 3 years now to get the gender marker changed, and then it took about 2 years to get the name changed. And then I had top surgery in August. So then that basically, I basically pulled on my medical red shirt for college. So I was being smart, because I didn't want to like push myself. Yeah. And mess up my chest. And so right now I'm able to, this season, be able to compete.
Oh, you must be looking forward to that.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I am. I really am.
Knowing the competitor that you are, you're probably like, I'm ready to get back on the mat.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, practice is practice, but it's, you know, competition is a whole different thing.
And just for people who don't know what top surgery is, can you just really quickly tell?
Yeah, it's just basically taking the fat and any other like muscle tissue that needs to come out, like out of the breast section. I
gotta ask, how do you train? Like, what's your training like?
I usually train maybe 2 to 3 times a day, if not either once or twice. And if not, then I'll get in like a good 3-hour hard session for a day. I usually do cardio from 10 to 15 minutes of abs in there, some wrestling. Yeah, it's crazy.
You've kind of been thrust into this advocacy role. Like, do you embrace that? Do you not take it for granted now?
No, I don't take it for granted now. I am taking a more prouder role about it, and it's good. It's brought me a lot of good people around me. It's brought a lot of good times. I want to change it. I want to go back and change it.
Mack, thanks so much for stopping by Muscle and Fitness HQ. Again, you can check Mack out at Mack Wrestles on ESPN September 22nd. Check your local listings. And Mack, thanks so much for stopping by.
All right, appreciate it, man.